On the platform this morning, we will be discussing how far, how well, especially considering that the party have now identified the landmines that led to their implosion in the last election. And like I said, I'm Wisdom Thomas. Joining me virtually to discuss the People's Democratic Party here in Abia State is the Abia Pdp chairman, Chief Ama Abraham. Good morning to you, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Wisdom. It's my pleasure to be with you this morning.
How about if I start by asking you, Chief, if there is a bit of change in what you had thought before vying and emerging as the chairman of the PDP? Are the challenges bigger than what you had anticipated, or is just how you thought it was before you emerged?
No, I was part of the system. I was part of the last executive. So I was I was deeply rooted in everything that has to do with the party. It's very difficult to separate me from Abia PDP, and that simply translates to the fact that I was very much aware of the responsibilities I intended to take up if elected as the chairman of Abia PDP. And I must say that following my election, I can still see those pictures clearly, and that is why I am navigating without much stress or difficulty, because I knew what I was coming to do, and I'm just doing that. And I am so far happy that we are our little efforts are giving us some positive results.
Okay, one of the things you were evocative about during the course of your election, and of course since you emerged, is rebuilding the PDP. And like my intro said, some persons have written your party off. They do not think they are going to challenge for the diadem in the future vis-a-vis what transpired in the last election. The rebuilding process, how has it been? Of course, there have been different meetings held, you and different other stakeholders here in Abia State in terms of Abia PDP. Where are we in terms of the rebuilding process?
Well, when we came in on board, we had two things in mind. One was the rebuilding of our party. The other one was constructive engagement of the present government. And then those issues we are following up critically. For that of engagement with the government of the day, we have been able to set up a mirror cabinet, which is saddled with the responsibility of mirroring the activities of the government and trying to comment, or where possible, come up with an alternative perspective. And that, by the grace of God, we believe we are doing very, very well. And then, on the other hand, we have a bigger picture. The bigger picture is to go back to our bank and then draw out our deposits based on the experiences we have gathered over the years as a result of some of the achievements while in office, and as a result of some of our failures while in office. For every organization, you must have, it's a kind of a double entry bookkeeping. You must have the debit, you must have the credit. So it cannot be win-win for any organization in the world, or even human beings. When you check your life, you can say, yes, I've done well in this aspect, but in this aspect, I've not done well. So those things we have also put in together, and as a result of that, we decided one of the first things we did was to set up a reconciliation committee headed by Chief Peter Agomba and other eminent personalities, men and women. And then the second part of it was to carry out a robust engagement with critical stakeholders. One of such engagements have taken us across the states, where we are talking on with members of critical stakeholders of our party, and we are engaging them And then, of course, we have been able to identify uh, our challenges and what led to our failing the elections last time. And of course, it's part of our strategy to chart a way for ourselves for the future. And part of what we are doing is the robust engagement we are carrying out. We are moving, we have been on the road, moving from one local government to the other. We have had a very robust engagement with critical stakeholders from Iguano local government, for instance. We have also engaged with stakeholders from Isialangwa North, Isialangwa South, Osisioma. We've been with Aba North and Aba South and local governments. We have been with Okwa East and Okwa West. The only outstanding is Ugunabo in the southern flank. And in the days ahead, we are planning to reach out to Isukwato Munochi Bende, Aruchukwu Hafia, and Homunochi. So we'll continue to move on. We have already set the template on an engagement uh, with Umuahia North and Umuahia South. So, and that is not going to be, it's not going to be a one-off thing. It's something we are going to do consistently, using various approach to engage. And by February, we are going to have a summit of women. We are going to bring about 100 women from each local government areas across the 17 local government areas. It's going to be a women. We are going to talk to our women. We are going to engage them. We are going to address the gender issues that has to do with Abia Pdp and that has to do with Abia State and Nigeria as a whole. And then in the same February, we are also going to bring about 100 youths from the 17 local government areas. Committees have been set up, plannings have gone very, very high. And then we have also decided to have an expanded stakeholders meeting of what we call the rebranded PDP, where men and women of the party are going to come from all walks of life. So we are just we are on it, and I must also tell you that our reconciliation committee, led by Chief Peter Agomba, is doing very very well, very very well.
We'll talk about the reconciliation, Chief Farmer. But while you were explaining, you mentioned challenges that you have now, as a party, identified some of those challenges which affected the party in the 2023 election, and you've been quoted at some point to have said it includes imposition of candidates and including embezzlement of election fund and other things. Are those the issues that plagued the party last time, and what are you doing to solve them now, or you want to keep them aside?
You have just mentioned two. There are many. We have sabotage. Our own party members sabotaged our election, and there are many, many. Yeah, there are many, many. As I said, it's a strategy document, and we may not discuss all the details in the public because it is intended to fix what is wrong in house, so that we'll come outside the house as a better, and then better, and be able to attain our goals and aspirations. So yes, we on the area of imposition of candidates, the new executive have decided to go on what we call the most transparent primaries in the history of any political party in Africa. That is what we intend to have next year. But sometime this year, in September precisely, we are going to come up with a mock primaries, and then to tell the world how candidates will emerge. We are going to have mock primaries, and then on the basis of that, the world will see how we intend. All our primaries will be covered with cameras, and the process, we have decided that if the process is 75 or 85% good, then it is not good enough. Anything short of 99.9%, it means that the process is not good enough. So we are engaging that. Then on the issue of managing campaign funds, well, it became a very critical issue in one of the local government. I think that was Osisioma, where some party leaders were seen to have pocketed campaign funds and did not make those money. It also became an issue in one of the local governments of Aba, either Aba North, Aba South. So we have also developed a template on how to deal with those things. As I said, some of our strategies we cannot disclose openly because once we discuss it openly, well, we'll lose the right to it
But
as
you,
any
you, you,
other
you,
political
you do
organization
not
can also.
think that some of them should be shared with the public? I mean, what you are doing now is to reassert yourself on the minds of Abians, and there are some of those things you would think you need to admit openly, like failure to deliver on some campaign promises by the immediate past administration. Don't you think these are some of the things you should share with the public and say, we admit we have failed
No,
in this aspect and we
I,
are going to do
I
better?
started. I started by telling you that we have drawn a lot of experience from our achievements in office and also from our failures. Is yes, I said that. That was about the first thing I said on this program. We have gathered a lot of experience from the things we achieved and the things we failed to achieve.
Okay.
And we believe that when given another opportunity, of course, for those things we thought or we think that we did well, we can only do better. And for the areas where we fail, of course, it has to be a turnaround approach to make sure that we even deliver better.
Okay, let's zero in on reconciliation. The party PDP under your tutelage have constituted a reconciliation committee that are saddled with that responsibility of reaching out to aggrieved party members. How is it going so far? Are you having indications of turnaround and positivity laced across the movement?
Well, I must also add that the need for reconciliation in Abia chapter of the People's Democratic Party cannot be over stated, especially as internal cohesion and unity are critical for political successes and effective governance. Several factors make reconciliation vital, and of course, we are working on those indices. One of them is strengthening party unity. The other one is consolidating electoral strength, and then we are also working on restoring public confidence on our party in our approach to reconcile members. Of course, addressing leadership disputes. If we have two of our leaders who are not really on one page, we are also working on those issues. We are also, of course, working on promoting sustainable development, which is key for both our party members and Abias in general. And then some of the recommended approach which we have given to the committee and in which the state working committee is also using is to make sure that there is an inclusive dialogue. That is creation of platform where all aggrieved members can voice their concerns without fear of retribution. A kind of a truth commission where the truths are heard and then nobody is will be nothing will be used against anybody on the basis of those truths, and then eventually those informations becomes vital for party application to make the party better. We are also looking at conflict mediation. Wherever we see there is conflict, we are working closely to make sure that those issues are resolved. Of course, I talked about primaries commitment. We are making commitment to equity and fairness, which was a problem, and we need to improve on that. Of course, implementation of agreements. If you reach an agreement with somebody, you should be able to implement those agreements. Then, there is also a need for us to identify our shared goals and values, and then what are they? What do we really want as a political party, and how do we intend to achieve them? So all these and more are some of the steps we are taking to make sure that we come out with a very, very successful reconciliation approach.
Okay. Now, let's talk about mass defection, Chief Ama. Doesn't it bother you that despite all of these concerted efforts towards bringing cohesion and unity back to the party, that there are still people who are leaving in droves for other parties? Doesn't it bother you? Or you think that the exit of these people are blessings in disguise?
Well, I didn't hear the latter part of it.
I'm saying, doesn't it bother you that these people are leaving the party despite the concerted effort of the party under your tutelage to bring everyone back to the table and to form a formidable front? Or if that doesn't bother you, is it a blessing in disguise that they are leaving?
Well, I think that was Upper West. A few days ago, I received a total of about 250 people at Upper West. And just yesterday, we also had a high-profile defection into our party.
To the party or outside?
Hello?
To your party, defection to your party, or those who exited?
Yes, to my party.
Okay.
To my party, just yesterday. Just yesterday again, we also had some eminent personalities joining the party in Osisioma. You see, I must tell you that defection, also known as political cross carpeting, is a recurring issue in Nigerian politics. It is driven by several factors, and it is driven by several factors. And one of those factors is what I want to give it a baptismal name by calling it self-interest and personal ambition, instead of saying hunger. Which might not be too good. Let me call it self-interest and personal ambition. Politicians frequently prioritize personal gains over party loyalty, defecting to parties that offer them some kind of food in the table or some kind of stomach infrastructure. And then you will also understand that most of this defection was not outside our party, was not based on issues of ideology. And of course, if you look at the letters they have written, and then if you look at their public statements, if you look at the individuals involved, there is nothing to show that anybody left PDP because of ideological bias, but rather they left on the basis of self-interest, personal ambition, food on the table, stomach infrastructure, what has become known as stomach structure in Nigerian political lexicon. And then, of course, economic, which is another angle to it, economic and financial incentives. Economic and financial incentive. We have had where people will give people 500,000 and tell them cross over to our party. We have had where people will give people motorcycle and say cross is so, because those individuals involved they just want to make a public record that people are joining them or identifying with them. And then there's what we also call the loyalty to influential politicians, where some people want to become loyal to some kind of influential politicians, so that those influential politicians will also end up carrying them along as their boys or their women, and then also assist to improve their food on the table quantity and quality. These are some of the issue. And then when people want to run away from accountability, like what we had in Osisioma, where people were giving campaign funds and then they were summoned by the disciplinary committee, and then they don't want to give account of those things, and they run away from accountability. Then they tell you that they have joined another political party. There are many, many factors involved. But I want to assure you, just as I said, last few days ago, I received 250 plus members from Upper West. It was covered live. And then just yesterday, we also have a picture of what happened in Osisioma local government, where some prominent individuals also joined our party. So we are seeing that happen, and it has always happened in Nigerian politics, and of course, it will continue to happen. And but even during the time of Jesus Christ, we saw defection. Because what Judas did was defected. And what did Jesus say? He said, "His place, let another man take. His place, let another man take." So we have a lot of we have part of our suffering, part of the reasons behind our failure was underutilization. So some of these personalities who have also shifted camp have also given our younger people an opportunity to come forth for effective utilization, because those men was what the Igbo will call a kind of also. They were not there to allow free flow of traffic, but they were just there to say nobody moves here from here, that all of us are here. And then it created a scenario where a lot of young people were not happy with what was happening in the political party, but their decision to defect has also, it's just like a polluted room, and you open the windows and all the bad air is getting out and you are getting a fresh air. So for us, it's a time to get a fresh air. Because if you look at some of the people who have left the party, of course, many of them contributed to why we failed. And many of them became almost everything they are in life as a result of Abia Pdp. Everything. If you look at their record, who were they in 1998, for instance? You understand, who were they and who are they today? So if you look at the distinction, what was the quality of house they were living in 1998, and what is the quality of house they are living now? So if you do this comparison, and I think it is not for us, the political parties, to even mention this thing, the media can do a survey and ask critical questions for them to answer. So we are better off. We are doing better, and that is why the former governor, His Excellency Okezikpa, so did say that well, these people are exercising their fundamental rights. You cannot hold anybody. I'm just quoting his words. You cannot hold anybody according to. You cannot hold anybody against his wish. So if they want to go, they go. Just like people are joining us now, they are joining us on their wish, and in the days ahead, we will continue to see more people joining us. We are not deterred. We are committed, and we are determined to make sure that we change the narrative, that we make sure that we change the story.
Thank you for leaving your dial on the floor of God's Son State. It is still the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, and we are still speaking to the Abia PDP chairman, Chief Abraham Ama. Now let's go national, if you don't mind, before we come back to the state, Chief Ama, and look at the situation of things at the center. What is the position of Abia PDP in terms of the noticeable confusion at the center involving the PDP Board of Trustees, the National Working Committee, talk about the chairman, Omar Damagom, and the leader of PDP Governors Forum, led by Bala Mohammed? What is the position of Abia PDP with all of this discontent?
Well, I want to assure you that those things you perceive are normal for every political organization in developing countries, even elsewhere. Is they have to do with people seeing things differently, and many of these personalities are strong members of the party who believes in the future of this party. And we have had more than this scenario, worse than this scenario in the past years. And I can assure you that these developments will take care of themselves, and will continue to take steps necessary to make sure that some of these situations are tamed and they are taken care of, and that we come out of it. Just like Friday, we had a very successful meeting at Enugu, which is the Zonal Executive Committee of the party. And by tomorrow, we are also having another engagement at the level of the National Working Committee involving some leaders from the Southeast. I can assure you that as I speak to you today, there is a meeting going on at Bauchi, which also have some members of the NEC is, executive, national executive of the party, meeting with the chairman of the governors forum, Bala Mohammed of Bauchi states, and sometime later next month, the next meeting will take place. All these meetings are intended to make sure that these challenges are taken care of. But I must also add, and even much serious problem than what you think the PDP has. And PDP is a very active party. That is why you see these things happening. It's a very active party. Nigerians consider the People's Democratic Party as the only viable alternative platform of the party of in Nigeria today. That has what it takes to provide a platform for an alternative perspective on any issue that has to do with governance. So we are good to go, and we'll get out of it certainly.
Apologies for the break in transmission. We are back, and to continue the conversation, I was talking about the shadow government, something that the PDP caved in terms of the pressure from the Abia state government regarding the description shadow government since its formation. Has there been work ongoing? What have you seen so far? Have you been following through on government policies? Are there things you have concerns regarding, especially since the turn of the new year?
Well, our cabinet is in place. Just last week, we appointed Elder Azuzio as the shadow commissioner for Aba Urban Renewal. And I want to assure you that it's unstoppable, and we will continue to carry out the duties expected of a shadow government, which, of course, is mostly on policy scrutiny and oversight, monitor and critically assess the policies, decision and performance of governments, and then hold the government accountable by exposing weaknesses, inconsistencies, or failures in government. Then we are also working very hard in the area of development of alternative policies, formulate and present alternative policies and programs as credible options for government. We are, of course, involved in the area of expanding the scopes of debate on virtually every issue that has to do with governance in Abia State. And then we are on top of the issue of public communication. If you go, even in Google, if you go to the social new media, if you go to the mainstream paper, it's PDP. It's PDP, Abia. PDP Abia is always in the forefront, more than any other political party. And then our spokesperson, Eric Ukuago, is on top of his game, and is good at what he's doing. And of course, he is covering all the spaces which the shadow government needs to cover, and then of course doing the very needful. And then of course, as a shadow government, we are also preparing to take over government, and then because that is the reason why we are doing some of the things that we are doing. And we are associating ourselves with the organized labor, with civil societies, and then to beef up the machinery of advocacy and representation. Advocate for marginalized or underrepresented group whose interests may not be adequately addressed by the government. Serve as a check on policies that could harm certain communities, or sections. Those things I think we are doing very, very well, and then influencing public opinion. I think nobody will take it away from Abia PDP that if there is one political party that is today responsible in setting agenda for political discussion in Abia PDP is that political party. And we use public platforms, we do media appearances as what is happening right now, and debates to influence public opinion and gain support for the opposition's vision and mission. The shadow cabinet plays a crucial role in strengthening democracy. It is for the good of every Abian. In fact, it is more importantly for the good of the Alex Otis administration, because this criticism, they get it free of charge, and it helps them to know what to do to be able to be seen as a good government. And I want to tell you that without the shadow cabinet, most of the achievements of this government will not have been achieved. But the more we push them on the tight corner, the more they try. We have been complaining that for 2 years that this government has not created a single job, that they have sacked over 25,000 Abia workers, and amongst the ones they have not sacked, there are a lot of them for one verification error that is not their cause or their problem. They have not received salaries for as much as 1 year and plus. But just a few days ago, we heard that they are planning to employ about 2,500 teachers. It's a good development. We want that to happen because these people, our brothers, they are our friends, they are our in-laws, they are our community people who will get this employment. So, and they deserve to be employed, and that is what government is all about. You know what happens in government when over 25,000 people have lost their job? It brings poverty in the system, and it causes a lot of deprivation, and of course it can also increase crime. So we are happy that for the first time that the government is talking about employing 2,500 staffs.
Okay. Before I open the phone lines and engage my listener now, I'm sure you are well aware that the Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria, Abia State chapter, are on strike despite series of meetings between representatives of the Abia State government and representatives of the union. They had a meeting recently, and they are saying we're not going back to work until this particular term is met. What's the position of Abia PDP regarding this development?
Well, we have written statements on this. The Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria in Abia State initiated a strike. If you recall, that was on 2nd of January 2025. And primarily due to the state's failure to implement the new national minimum wage for judicial workers. Despite a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, signed sometime last year, I think that was sometime in November 8th, 2024, which stipulated that the new minimum wage under the consolidated judiciary salary structure will be effective from October 2024. The state government has not honored this agreement. Consequently, JASO members have not received their entitled salaries and allocations since October 2024. The question here is why? Why? For a government whose income from federation has quadrupled, this minor increment on salary, why are you not implementing them? You understand? In response to the government reaction, JASU members have organized protests, including gathering in front of Umuahia High Court complex. The Abia State Government House has criticized this protest, arguing that they occurred amidst ongoing negotiation. So the whole thing is so embarrassing. And you know what it means that the democracy has three arms of government. And in the three arms of government, one of them is an institution that is on its own, that is judiciary. Do you know what it means? That for over a month, 2 months, that a particular arm of government is not working. It's not just working. And this is an arm of government that is responsible for criminal and civil administration, judicial administration. This is the arm of government that is responsible for interpretation of the law, which means that as of today, if the State House of Assembly is involved in any blunder on the course in the course of making whatever law, that there is no arm of government that can technically correct them and tell them, no, what you have done is against the law, because they are not in place. And do you know what a lot of citizens are suffering? We have a lot of people in detention who needs to be represented by their lawyers. Do you know what it means that the lawyers in Aba, Umuahia, or Hapia, and indeed all over Abia are not going to court? And then many of them still have their staffs to maintain and pay, and their rents of their various offices are running. And of course, they have a responsibility for their families, because the only way a lawyer will work is if the court is working. Lawyers are officers of the court. So once the court is closed, the officers of the court technically have no duty. They don't have any work to do. So these are very, very serious issues. And I don't know why Governor Oti is not taking this seriously. Because I am not satisfied with the level of the engagement of government. Because the truth is that much has not been done.
All right.
Much has not been done. All the courts, they are innocent people who are suffering at Afara prisons and other prisons. And they cannot get justice because the courts, the prison in Aruchuku, the prison in Aba, because the courts are not functional. It's quite unfortunate.
All right, let's open the phone lines now and engage our listener. And you can be part of the conversation when you call 0808 1826 949 or 0811 605 2949, or send us a WhatsApp, including a text message on 0906 501 8289. Or you can go live on Facebook. We are live on Facebook, and drop your comment. A couple of them there. Let's get started. Good morning and thank you for joining us. Name and location.
With the remain listed, excellent. You feel issue is resolvable. I always say any problem that is solvable is not a problem. EPS to the governor has said it all in the assistant station. So that one is, by the way, PDP problem. You know, and that here when sugar finishes. That is the issue. So that is why we are starting when they were in power. They do the needful. They are calling us fast person there. But that is why. That's what is happening. Philip Ebel did not make 10 the accepted one. You know, you are an intelligent man. You understand me. So what we are saying is that even Abraham Ahmad himself is not a new person in PDP. You can recall last time one of their strongest scholars did not score for 1 year and 5 months because of Abraham Ahmad. And the first day that they called, he was here station.
Can you stick to what we are discussing, Excellent? I'm going to allow you to go. We have something on the front burner, and you have to stick to the rules of the engagement we are having already on the program this morning. We are talking about the PDP and how they are going about rehabilitating themselves and putting themselves back in the heart of Abians. And if you are not going to stick to what we are discussing, I will gladly let you go. Good morning and thank you for joining us. Name and location, please. 0808 1826 949. Good morning.
Good morning.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah. My name is Ojemba. I'm calling from Umaya.
Ojemba, go ahead.
Please, can you address hear me?
Yes, he can. Go ahead.
Hello.
Can you go ahead?
Can you address
can you go ahead? Just go ahead. I think I have to allow him to go. Now, if you get through to us, 0808 1826 949 or 0811 6052949. If you get through to us, tell us your name and location, and go ahead to share your thoughts with us and do your best to stick to the discussion. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Sam Abraham.
Good morning.
Who say man not this name? I'm calling from Mumbai. I want to thank you, Sam Abraham, for coming to tell Abians and Nigeria what transpired in your last meeting with the former governor. And you guys have learned your lesson and still promise to make PDP, your party, a better organization. It's a welcome development. When you talk about the issue of judicial staff that are going on strike, it's very, very painful that the secretary of Justice in Abia State was on air today in 2 places. He repeated that they are never their problems, that is part of the government to keep the agreement signed, the memorandum of understanding signed by both parties to keep it is a problem. So what we are saying, our governor, when he was in the other side, criticized the government of Okezi constructively. Criticize them. So there's nothing wrong if PDP is signing. If PDP is helping the state, I am urging every other opponent and the opposition political party to rise up to their feet. We need to, Abia belongs to all of us. We need to scrutinize this government. When they were campaigning, told us a lot of things about what the governor that they are going to do if given power. But today now, my younger brother was sacked based on the, I don't know. Today, a lot of workers were laid off. So if governor should rethink of what is going, things are very difficult. He should still keep to his word when he told us that he's not going to sack anybody. He said he will create job opportunities. But unfortunately, we've not seen it. So Labour Party as a party has said Abians, as well as I'm calling, but they are trying in road infrastructure. But stomach infrastructure is 0 over 100.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your contribution. And that assessment is only yours, right? I want to assume that you are speaking from a personal point of view. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Willie.
Name and location.
I'm calling from Omai. My brother, I want to commend you on the way you handle your programs. Let me start. I don't like talking about political parties, but when it has to do with governance, I think I have to make a contribution. PDP said they have amended their house and they're trying to amend their mistakes. Is it with respect to the zoning formula that caused the problem of the party last time? That is one. Another thing is that what happens to the disciplinary measures as stipulated in their constitution for those double-standing members from the national? Why are they not so bold enough to stand on their toes to discipline some double-standing members that are causing problems in their party? Then within the state also, must they form shadow government to criticize? Must there be a shadow government to criticize the government in power? What if YPP, APC, and other political parties that are form opposition decide to form shadow government? Won't Abia be a rowdy place? So I think they should check some of these things, amend their ways, and know the way forward. It is for Abians. Now, finally, on the issue of the tune and
I think you've blown your mind in terms of what's on the front burner. I appreciate. Let's give others a chance.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Let's take another call and we get back to
good morning, Sangineka.
Wisdom Thomas is my name. Go ahead.
Okay, good morning, bro. Wisdom.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Fine. Fine. So I'm coordinating from Imo State.
Go ahead.
So, PDP in Abia State, they are seeking for a second opportunity. That opportunity they are seeking is to take the state 40 years backward from the 20 years PDP in Abia State has taken the state to. PDP in Abia State should not be given any second chance in the state, because the reason is because that their godfatherism is too much. The power has, and the power that they are so much, they have the strategy to grab power, but they don't have the strategy for development in their state. That is their problem. They only know the strategy to grab power, and because of it, You see that they now form what? They form a shadow government that is not existing in any way of the country.
Okay.
They form that shadow government. Do you know that shadow government is enough to cause anarchy in that state? Because that federal government, they say they will form. They will have their own commissioner. Now, let's assume that commissioner now give a report, say that the youth should do like this. And the real commissioner now give a report that the youth should do like this. Which one would the youth obey?
Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your contribution. I think you've actually said quite a lot. Let's look at some of the comments on Facebook and finally hear from Chief Ama Abraham. They've timelessly explained the reason for the shadow government. Perhaps he could shed more light while given the chance. Joseph Peace on Facebook is saying, good morning, Flow FM. PDP reorganizing themselves against 2027 election is a good idea, but I don't think they can take away power from the present governor in 2027 because of the good work the governor is doing. Thank you for your compliment. Sunday Okobo is saying greetings to everyone. Uche Madu Joel is saying PDP should wave goodbye to the government of Abia State because for 24 years in power, we Abians saw nothing. And from Machuku Kennedy Chinedu, good morning everyone in the studio. And you're saying to me, Abia PDP should not bother setting up reconciliation committee or even bother rendering apology to Abians. And you said because PDP in Abia and other things you said. I'm going to end the feedback at this point and get back to Chief Ama Abraham. It appears the job isn't done in terms of trying to appeal to the hearts of Abians who are feeling disgruntled based on what happened under your party in the past administration and that before it.
I can assure you, frankly, that we have lots of Abians who believe in us. I am not going to respond to sponsor the persons who find contentment in disparaging the Abia PDP because it's an assignment they have taken up from those who are rattled by the upcoming approach of Abia PDP. I am not going to, but the truth remains that, and again, when people say we should not be forming shadow government and all the rest of them, Abia PDP is an extension of the People's Democratic Party in Nigeria, and it is incumbent on us to set our agenda. A non-party member cannot set our agenda for us. We set our agenda. And so long as our actions are not inconsistent with any aspects of the laws, then we are good to go.
Okay.
We are good to go. And then setting up a shadow cabinet is novel, it's not strange, it's not new in political history and democracies across the world. It is not new, it is not, and it is not the place of every political party to set up a shadow government, as somebody alluded. It is the place of a party that is seen to be the second party in the state based on the last election to set up a shadow government. In the last election, we came second in the governorship election. In the last election, we came first in the number of seats in the State House of Assembly. So we have every indices required of a political party to stand firm and assert itself as a shadow government.
Okay.
Without apologies to those who like it or those who don't like it.
Okay.
It is our right. It cannot be taken away from us.
Let me sincerely appreciate you because we are out of time now. Chief Ama Abraham, he is the Abia PDP chairman. Thank you for gracefully honoring our invitation to talk about your party on the program this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Abians.